Wow, you have made it to episode 3. Whoa. I'm super excited about what this last episode is going to bring to you. So we've talked about family, we've talked about friends, and now we're talking about community. Community is extremely extensive. It includes brotherhood, sisterhood, friendship, all at the same time. The people that I'm interviewing are not only my friends, but they're pretty popular people in college. They have some titles, they are in some organizations that make them very familiar with people. But I wanted to interview them with people that they love and that they've built community with, to show people that when 2 or 3 are gathered together, it's beautiful to see. The love that they display for each other, the vulnerability and the transparency that they display in this conversation was honestly so sacred, so beautiful, and so pure. It was an honor to catch it on camera. I hope that you guys see how not only their brotherhood and sisterhood has progressed them in their manhood and their womanhood, but I hope that you just see these people as people who love each other. And community is important. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this. I'm excited for you to see this one. It's honestly my favorite episode. Yay! Enjoy.
Sisterhood has completely changed my life. I have so many wonderful sisters outside of these 2 women that have constantly remind me of my purpose, constantly remind me that Chloe, like, there's so much more for you, because there's times where I feel unqualified, there's times where I feel like, okay, dang, like I'm a failure. And to see them, it reminds me, like, no, there's more to life than this where you are now. You're a senior at Spelman, you're trying to graduate, you're trying to figure out what's next. But to have sisters who support me and remind me that there's more to you, encourages me to keep going.
It's crazy because this year is really the year I started to lean into God for my leadership. And so one of the first things I asked God to do was to help me lead with love. And he kept bringing me back to what love is. And he's like he was playing with me because, like X said, the first line in the verse about love is that love is patient. And I'm like, God, my patience is wearing thin with these dudes, bro. I don't have any left. And that's how I know, like, my leadership a lot has been shaped and formed by the love that God has given me for these men, for the work that we do, whatever, because that patience isn't in me naturally. Like, I promise. Is not.
Yeah, so
You taught me boundaries.
I feel like sometimes, like, because like sometimes Christian people, like, boundaries and things like that, they don't flow, or we feel like, oh, love your neighbor as yourself, so, like, I can't have boundaries or, like, protections or, like, things around my space that keep me from loving myself so that I can love my neighbor well. And so I was in a season where I was still learning, like, boundaries, and I feel like once you start to implement that, like, for the first couple times, everything that people are like, oh, can you do, I'll be like, no. Okay, we come, no, I can't get it. Okay,
I had boundaries. I had boundaries.
I
said a boundary.
So in the very beginning of friendship, like, I'm a very much, like, a lot of times I'll be like a yes person. I'll be like, okay, let's do, like, whatever. And so in the beginning of what a friendship ministry, I'd be like, yeah, we can meet at 5 to discuss. And she's like, I can't commit to that. And, like, I had never heard those words together.
That would annoy me.
I only heard commitment in terms of relationship.
Oh, I got on their nerves.
So me and Chloe were like, what do you mean by
you can't commit?
What does that mean for you? Because this is ministry. Like, we were like, what does that mean?
I remember one time I was like, you can't commit. What you mean? You a whole leader, but you can't commit.
So I have a friend who talks about how, like, a lot of times, like, we don't set sort of, like, boundaries or standards around our space because we don't necessarily know that we have something worth protecting. And I think that's really cool. And so I feel like a lot of times or even the fact that you're doing this when it comes to, like, relationships, like familial friendship sort of situations, because I feel like those are the people who teach you that you deserve to be loved well.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like, when I think about things that I sort of, like, aspire to in the future, whether it's, like, career or, like, wanting to, like, sort of, like, be in a relationship or anything like that, I feel like sort of the things that I'm learning in this space right now are things that will help me to be better in the future. So how, like, learning how to be able to serve, like, my community and my space,
that's good.
or learning how to, like, receive constructive criticism, or like learning how to communicate, or to sort of flow with love languages that aren't necessarily your own. I feel like those sort of like flexibilities and those skills and those values are things that you could take anywhere with you in your life. And so, I don't know, I feel like they've taught me ultimately that I deserve to be loved well. And so anyone else who comes into my space who doesn't treat me like
so good.
like the people who God has called me to, like, you don't deserve to be in this space, because if you can't treat me like these people treat me, then that don't work. So
I think brotherhood has also shown me, just as a man, the importance of keeping company around you that sharpens your manhood. You know, so if I only walk with people who, you know, might even be sharp people that I walk with, but they're not sharpening the right parts of me because we agree on the same things, or because we see things like the same way, then, you know, I'm not sharpening the holistic part of, you know, of my life, of my manhood. And like that is very important along the lines of accountability and even just differences that you go through as a brotherhood. It sharpens you for sure, as a leader, as a man, all the above.
I think, you know, like we said, being able to hold each other accountable shows our love and support for one another. Because they know, you know, if they're doing some great things, I'm gonna be the first to tell them, you know, like, I see you, you know. But, you know, if it's something, you know, that's not them, you know, we also can say, like, you know, fix that. So I think that's powerful, especially between us being able to tell one another, you know, what they can do to, you know, switch things, or what they can do to, you know, correct things.
Exactly. X is very good at telling you straight up, like, whether you're doing something good or not. Like, that's what I appreciate in friendships, when it's it's just open. You can just be open and just say how you feel. And he knows me. He knows when I'm off. He knows when I'm on. Especially like my sophomore, junior years, when I was like transitioning into my walk with God. Like, he would tell me, like, hey, bro, that's not you. And same, like, he would ask me to hold him accountable with certain things that he was dealing with. And so, you know, that's something that I really appreciate in the friendship, just being able to, like, have somebody who knows you, and they know when you're not being yourself. And Alex as well.
So I want to say, like, the way that sisterhood has shaped my womanhood is that I felt like sisterhood has shown me what it means to be a better woman. It's shown me what it means to truly, like, care for women. Because I think sometimes, like, you think it's easy. Oh, like, she's a woman, so of course she cares about the feelings of women. She cares, but, like, honestly, I don't think I did. I think before I think before I was very selfish in the way that I just cared about my feelings. But sisterhood has showed me, like, no, women are life bearers, and you need to pour into and pour life into the life bearers. They don't, like, these are the ones who are going to bring forth our future generations and children. They're our nurturers. And I know sometimes, like, in society, they kind of, like, look at the word nurturing for a woman as bad, but, like, that's what we do. We do nurture. That's why we feed our children. We hold the child. That's our natural form, is to nurture and care. And so to know, sisterhood has shown me, like, women are important and they're powerful, and they do big things.
So this was junior year, fall semester, and I was driving down Northside Drive, and I'm going through the light at Marietta Street. My light is green, and I'm going straight. I think I'm going the speed limit, maybe just a little bit faster. And I'm going through the intersection. I see this big truck coming to my left, and it hits me straight in my driver door. And my car crashed into a pole, and I just sat there because, like, in my mind, I don't know what was going through my head, but I thought that I was hurt or that something had happened. And then when I finally came to, I realized I wasn't injured. I didn't have any scratches. I didn't have no concussion. I didn't have anything. And And it was crazy. I just sat and I was coming to, and I was like, I'm not hurt. But it was 1,000 things running through my mind, because both my grandfather passed away from a car accident. My dad fell asleep behind the wheel multiple times, and has never been hurt. And it's just like, I don't know, it was just a lot of things running through my mind. And so then when I finally can get out, I had to climb out my passenger door because my driver door had just been smashed. I couldn't open it. And so I get out the car and I called my mom, she didn't answer. No, I called my mom, she answered, but my mom is in Arkansas. I called my dad, he didn't answer. I called my roommate, he didn't answer. And I called Jonzel. I don't know why. It's just some things instinctively that just kick in. And because he's my, on our line, he's my back. So he's the person that's behind me. He's the one that holds me up. And I called him, he picked up on the first or second ring. And he dropped what he was doing, he came right there. And he stayed there with me the whole time. I think he took me home. I think he let me keep some stuff that was in my car in his. And I just went home that night. And I don't know, it's not many people I can call on at times like that. I think to have just people like that you know are reliable and will go to bat for you like that is such a blessing to have.
Sydney, you are selfless.
Sydney, you are capable of more than you imagine.
You are both beautiful inside and out.
Chloe, I think I feel like you're called to so much higher than the way that you may see yourself now. There's so much that your hands are supposed to carry and supposed to hold, and so I'm just grateful to be able to observe that in you, because it's really cool. And it's awesome to see you evolve and grow. So I don't know, you're holding a lot. So I'm very excited to sort of just be present for that, to be in the front pew.
Tiana, you are loyal. You, I can tell you anything and we're dumb about it, meaning if I tell her, it's not going anywhere. I can tell her anything and I know that it's not going anywhere. And so I thank you for your loyalty. I thank you for your friendship. You're loyal. Yeah. We can't say that about many people, but Tiana, you're loyal.
She won't leave.
She won't leave.
Which is a great thing.
Which is a
great thing.
And when go ahead. No, and when you tell someone you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. Yeah. Whether you feel like doing it, whether it's too hard for you, regardless, you're gonna do it. Mm-hmm. And so I appreciate your loyalty. And you are a great servant, and you give and you give and you give and you give, and I thank you for that.
That's cute. Thank you.
There's a verse that says some friends stick closer than a brother. And this is one thing that I am not necessarily proud of. I'm still working on, but with my blood related relatives, I have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister. And I've lived with my little sister. My 2 younger brothers I haven't lived with. And so I'm not very close with them. And that's one thing that I am working on. I just have to do better at, but there's some friends that God sends that stick closer than a blood relative, than a brother. And these guys have been more than that to me. So I appreciate God for that. you.